Yeah, we're always investing. We stay invested.
A surge in profits, deals abound.
The deal makers, they are raking in billions in M&A.
When in 2022, these two guys, Owen and Ian, approached me about investing in Veritasium.
Private equity firms have quietly spent over $4 billion buying YouTube channels. Veritasium, Fireship, Donut Media, Game Theorists, and even Cocomelon. And here's the thing, none of them had to tell you. The creator is still there, thumbnails look the same, the videos seem normal. But behind the scenes, the same Wall Street firms that killed Toys R Us and Red Lobster are now running channels you watch every day. So who actually owns these channels? To answer that, you first need to understand why Wall Street suddenly cares about YouTube at all. Over the last 20 years, the private equity industry has grown from under $1 trillion to over $12 trillion. That's a lot of money that needs somewhere to go. And for decades, the playbook was simple. Find a boring but profitable industry, buy it up, cut costs, and sell it for more. Private equity now owns 70% of nursing facilities in the United States, 75% of veterinary clinics, and 55% of dermatology practices. And they're running out of industries to invest in. McKinsey literally called it a target drought. And the Carlyle Group's co-founder publicly said that they've exhausted most classic targets in retail and manufacturing. And right now, there's $3.1 trillion in uninvested capital just sitting there, waiting. So fund managers started looking at industries the big guys hadn't touched yet. And one of them noticed something interesting.
Measured by Nielsen, YouTube is the single biggest TV distributor in the country.
YouTube now hits 1 billion hours of watch time every single day, more than Netflix or more than any traditional TV network. But that's not what caught their attention. This did. A channel with a small team of 5 or 6 people can generate $1 to $2 million in revenue a year with net profit margins of 50 to 70%. For context, a traditional small business does 7 to 10% a year. YouTube channels are 5 to 7 times more profitable than a normal business. And on top of that, they have no rent, minimal inventory, and no supply chain issues. Just a camera, an editor, and an audience. Now, here's the part that makes it even more attractive for private equity. While YouTube was printing money in plain sight, nobody in traditional media saw it coming. Vice Media, once valued at $5.7 billion, sold for less than $350 million in 2024. And BuzzFeed IPO'd at $1.5 billion, their stock now trades at 60 cents. TV ad revenue was also down 11%, and YouTube ad revenue in the same time is up 21%. And the money didn't disappear, it just moved, and private equity figured out where it went before everyone else did. So the next question is kind of obvious. How do you actually buy a YouTube channel? Private equity starts identifying channels with these 3 things: stable, predictable revenue, a loyal audience, and a small team with low costs. Then they make the creator an offer they can't refuse. And it usually works one of 2 ways. Either they buy the channel outright and the creator cashes out completely, or they do a majority stake deal where they buy 50 to 80% of the channel. And here's why the second option is so clever. Because now the creator is a shareholder too. Their financial interest is completely aligned with the private equity firm. The creator has every incentive to keep making more videos, keep the audience engaged, and keep the revenue growing, and every incentive to not tell you that the channel changed hands. You can already see why this works so well. The creator stays, the audience stays, the revenue keeps growing, and nobody asks any questions. But buying one channel really isn't the play. The real play is called a rollup. Private equity firms buy 5 to 10 similar channels and combine them under one company. Each channel on its own is worth 3 to 5 times the annual revenue, but combine 10 of them under one roof where you can centralize accounting, legal, and centralize the brand deal negotiations, and suddenly the combined portfolio now sells for 10 to 20 times the revenue. It's the exact same channels, same content, and nobody made anything better, but the valuation just quadrupled. It's the exact same playbook they used in healthcare for years. Vetcore rolled up over 1,000 vet clinics and sold at 14 times the earnings. And Heartland Dental rolled up 1,600 dental clinics, which they bought at a 10x and sold at a 16x. Now they're doing it with YouTube channels. But here's where it gets personal. Because once the Wall Street firms owns the channel, the clock starts ticking, and the pressure changes everything about the content you watch. They need to return money to their investors within 5 to 7 years. And that deadline shows up in the content in 3 ways you've probably already noticed without knowing why. First is more videos. The creator who used to spend 2 weeks making something genuinely good now has to publish every single week or even twice a week. Quality content takes time, but time is the one thing private equity doesn't have. Second is safer content. Topics that might upset advertisers get cut and creative risks disappear. The weird personal stuff that made the channel special, the reason you subscribe to in the first place, gets replaced with whatever's proven to perform. Look at Donut Media, for example. Before the acquisition, they were making weird experimental car content that nobody else was making, and that's exactly why people subscribe. After the Blackstone money came in, it slowly changed into the same generic automotive content that everyone else was doing. The stuff that made people care about in the first place is usually the first thing to go. And third is new faces. Private equity firms hate something called a key man risk. If the entire channel depends on one person and that person burns out or leaves or walks away for some reason, the asset becomes worthless overnight. So they start introducing new hosts. Slowly at first, but then you see them more frequently. You've probably noticed this on channels you watch, new faces showing up randomly without explanation. That's not a creative decision, that's basically risk mitigation. Take Game Theorists for example. LunarX acquired the channel in 2024, and MatPat, the creator who built it, left the channel in 2025. New host stepped in, it's the same format and the same upload schedule, but the audience didn't come for the format, they came for MatPat. Videos that used to pull 4 to 6 million views started doing only around 2 million, and even people on Reddit started noticing. Then there's Donut Media. Recurrent Ventures acquired them in November 2021, backed by $300 million from Blackstone. The big promise was that all the founding staff members would remain. But within 3 years, 3 of the original founders are already left. 2 of them started their own channel, Big Time and Speed, and picked up over 2 million subscribers within weeks. The audience didn't follow the brand, they followed the people. And that's the fundamental problem private equity can actually never solve. They can buy the channel, they can buy the brand, and they can even buy the upload schedule, but they can't buy what made people care. And now everything I've shown you is about channels made for adults, but the biggest acquisition in this entire space is hardly talked about. In November 2021, Candle Media, run by former Disney executives and backed by Blackstone, acquired Cocomelon's parent company for $3 billion. Cocomelon is the third most subscribed channel with over 200 million subscribers. But what they built with that money is genuinely unsettling. They developed a system where they track second by second when a toddler stops watching, the exact moment a 2-year-old looks away from the screen, and they use that data to engineer every single video, every color choice, every sound effect, and even every transition. The content is not optimized for the kids' education or their development, but purely for maximum retention from children who are too young to understand what's happening to them. And as long as those kids keep watching and begging their parents to buy the latest merch or game, that's all the return on investment Blackstone needs. Now here's what makes all of this worse. None of them had to be disclosed. Not the Cocomelon deal, not the Game Theorists acquisition, not any of it. In 2023, the FTC updated its rules to require creators to disclose sponsored content. If a brand pays a YouTuber to promote a product, the creator has to tell you. You've seen the disclaimers at the beginning of the video. But if a private equity firm buys the entire channel, the creator doesn't have to disclose anything, I mean nothing. Think about what that actually means for a second. Every video you've watched on a private equity owned channel since the acquisition, you had no idea who was really behind it. Take Veritasium for example. Derek Mueller has over 20 million subscribers and is one of the most watched science channels on YouTube. In April 2023, he sold a majority ownership to Electrify Video Partners, a private equity-backed firm. He didn't tell his audience until Christmas Eve last year. 2.5 years of videos produced under private equity ownership with zero disclosure. And this was completely legal. Now, to be fair, Derek's channel got better after the deal. Some of his most watched videos came after the acquisition. But that's not the point. The point is you had no way of knowing, and you still don't, for most of the channels this has happened to. Which raises a question which should genuinely bother you. If they're not buying ad revenue, and if they're not buying brand deals, what are they actually buying? It's trust. 70% of Gen Z and millennials trust influencers more than brands. And research has shown that parasocial relationships with creators activate the same response in your brain as real friendships. During the 2024 election, Trump's Joe Rogan appearance pulled over 38 million views within hours. And 54% of listeners said that they voted for Trump just because of that episode. Creator trust literally moved an entire election. Now imagine for a second what happens when a firm that owns 20 major creators can quietly decide which topics get covered and which ones don't. There are no rules against it, there's no disclosure requirement, and there's nothing stopping them. $4 billion is just the beginning. The question isn't whether this continues, it will. The question is whether you'll know who owns the next channel you subscribe to. And that's how Wall Street quietly took over YouTube. If you found this interesting, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.